What's up? I'm Alex. This is my wife, Maddie. We're going to be running day one. It's a lower day of the A-Team's new training cycle. Let's dig in. Starting off with a very quick warm-up. I'm just going to do about 5-10 minutes on the bike, moderate pace, nothing aggressive. After that, I'll probably do 1 to 2 warm-up sets per exercise. If you're unfamiliar with a warm-up set, it's just a little bit of a lighter weight at the target rep range. So let's say I'm doing 100 pounds for my first working set. Maybe I'll do 50 pounds and then 75 pounds for whatever the rep range is. Warm-up sets aren't supposed to be hard. They're just supposed to acclimate your body to the exercise that you're doing. When you join the A-Team, you get access to both the home gym and the full gym options, no matter which one you sign up for. So today we're gonna be doing a blend of the two. I'm gonna start off with the hack squat, the bottom half rep hack squat. Wow. the bottom half rep hack squat. And Maddie's gonna be doing the dumbbell variation. I'll show you that in just a second. If you're doing the home gym version or you don't have access to a hack squat, we're gonna be doing a bottom half rep heel elevated squat. You can use dumbbells to weight these. That's what I'd recommend. And any kind of heel elevation works. We have heel wedges specifically, but you could use a 2x4, some plates, a book, whatever you need to elevate your heel. The reason we're elevating our heel is so that ankle mobility is not the limiting factor when it comes to knee flexion. Notice if I don't have that, I can only drive my knee about this far forward before my heel starts coming off the ground. If I get rid of that and elevate my heels, I can go all the way down to the point where my hamstrings touch my calves, and we're able to get more knee flexion, which gets a better stretch on the quads, which will be better for muscle growth on the quads. Now for this one, we're gonna be going up just about halfway. Use your best judgment. I don't have a great way to measure this. If you have like a yardstick or something, I guess you could use that, but I think that's kind of overkill. Down, don't bounce at the bottom, halfway up. And we're staying just like this. And really focus on driving the knees forward. Don't try to push the hips back. That's not the goal here. That'd be more glutes, and that's just not the goal right now. We're focusing on the quads. We'll get plenty of glutes later in this workout. And just like this. And don't bounce at the bottom here. Don't go like that. Down, control, up halfway. Just like this. Yep, good. Creaky knees.
Very creaky knees.
Try to control a little bit more on the way down. There you go, good. We're getting there. Give me 2 more. That's it. Nice job. Now, if you feel at the bottom like I did, don't feel like you have to wait 2-3 seconds to get them back up. You could just start the next set at the bottom if you wanted. I just find that a little bit of an uncomfortable position to start from. And don't be worried if you do fail on an exercise like this. It's why there are stoppers in place, but maybe before you put a bunch of weight on, practice failing on this movement. Make sure you're not gonna get crushed by the machine. Most of the exercises that I program, I tell people to go to 1 to 2 RIR, or even potentially 0 RIR. Now, if you're unfamiliar with RIR, it stands for reps in reserve, basically a measure of how intense an exercise was, or specifically a set of an exercise was. And 0 RIR would mean 0 reps in reserve, meaning you could not, gun to your head, possibly get a single or more rep. Most exercises, I would recommend 0, 1, 2, 3-ish RIR, if muscle growth is the goal. Next up, we have a 1.5 dumbbell Romanian deadlift. This is the same for both programs. It's a great movement. If you had a GBSL machine, a ground-based squat lunge machine, looks like 2 handles, it's plate loaded, you could use that instead. You could use a barbell, you could use a hex bar. A lot of options for this. Basically Romanian deadlift, which is in my opinion, one of the best possible glute exercises. If I'm being really honest, probably #1, what I believe. Okay. Just a warm-up set, so grabbing the dumbbells, picking them up, hip width, foot position, and I'm going to focus on pushing my hips back as far as I possibly can, allowing my knees to bend to allow that to happen as much as possible. So right here, good. And everybody's bottom position is going to be a little bit different in terms of depth. Mine is right about here. It's where my hips stop going back. If I went farther down than this, like right here, it would just be a lower back kind of range of motion. So keeping the spine neutral, pushing the hips back, and then squeezing my glutes as hard as I can and driving them forward to come back to an upright position. Now when I'm doing 1.5 reps, I'll go down, up halfway, back down, and there. Yep, perfect. And I like that you're pausing in each position for like just a split second, just to avoid the stretch reflex, you know, not so much like rebounding or rubber banding. Looks good. Go down a little bit slower the first time. Just kind of control it a little bit more. Let your glutes stretch. Good. You don't have to pause for that long of a time, but just go down like before you're kind of dropping them. Tuck the chin a bit more. All the way. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Good. Okay, first working set of the glute medius cable kickback. If you've never done an exercise before, like I don't do this exercise a whole lot. It's kind of a new-ish one that I've been adding to the rotation. Adding weight or knowing what weight to use will always be a guess and check. I have no idea how much weight I will exactly use, but I used 4 or 40, whatever it is, on my warm-up set, and I'm just gonna see if 60 feels a little bit better. I'm gonna get to maybe 8 or so reps. If it feels right, okay, good. If I get to 8 reps, 9, 10, 11, 12 reps, and it's still feeling way too easy, like I could do 20 plus, I'll probably just stop the set, count it as a warm-up set, not a working set because I didn't get close to failure or hit my RIR target, and then I'll add more weight. I'm pretty sure this will be good enough. Another tip, if you notice that when you're doing these, your leg is scraping against the ground, what you can do is grab a plate or anything to elevate yourself, stand on it, and then your heel or your foot will not scrape against the ground anymore. Okay, let's give it a whirl. So again, I am attaching the cable cuff to my ankle, the ankle cuff, whatever, to the cable. I'm stepping back. This is 0 degrees. This is 90 degrees. I'm going right in the middle of that, about 45. Whoop. I'm going to push this plate back a little bit. Probably don't do this when you're attached, but there we go. Nice. Move my foot back a little bit more. Maybe the whole plate back a little bit more too. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. So this was a good weight for me. I got to 7. I couldn't do another. This would be good. On subsequent sets, I might even reduce the weight a little bit. Yep.
That's roughly here.
Yeah, I would move your body a little bit further back so that when you bring this leg up and across, it's not bumping into that one. And then kick it back in a line to right where I am right now. Yep, good. That's it. Turn to your right by about 10 degrees. That was maybe like 20, a little bit less. Right there, perfect. And on the way up, bring it a little bit closer to that cable. So bring it up that way a bit more. Yes, so now you get that big stretch on the glute medius. Depending on which program you're running, the home gym or the full gym will have some kind of calf variation. Now, if you're in the home gym program, we're doing a single leg elevated calf raise. You can use any kind of elevation you want. A stair would be a very common one. I'm using this wooden box. Something like a single 45-pound plate wouldn't really be enough because what we're looking for here is so that your calf can get a full stretch at the bottom, just like this, and then boom, full flexion at the top. And if you're in the full gym program, we're doing a seated calf raise. Now the thing about doing a bent knee with a seated calf raise or a straight knee with a standing calf raise is it's gonna bias a little bit more of the gastrocnemius or the soleus. The gastrocnemius is the most common, or I'd say the most popular calf muscle. It's the big heads right here. Mine aren't that big, but don't judge me. And then the soleus is a thin, flat muscle that runs underneath that. It's a little bit harder to hypertrophy or grow the soleus. It can be done. It's done a little bit better with a bent knee, whereas with a straight knee, we get a little bit more of the gastrocs, the gastrocnemius. So if you wanted bigger calves, I would be doing a higher proportion of straight knee stuff. So if you're in the full gym or if you're running the full gym program, please feel free to do any kind of straight leg variation. You can choose. I would still definitely do a warm up, you know, some body weight stuff, single leg or dual leg, depending on how much weight you need. If you're brand new to doing elevated calf raises, I would do dual legs just because these are pretty hard. Also at the bottom, try not to bounce. This is not gonna grow your calves. Pause at the bottom, get a full nice stretch, then explode up. Slow on the way down, full stretch for 1 second, up. And this is the tempo that I would like you to use, just like this. And keep pausing at the bottom. Put a little bit more of your foot on it. Yeah, the full ball of the foot should be on the box. We want to use that to push off against. If you notice that you have arch pain when you're doing any kind of calf raises, you're probably not putting enough of your foot on the plate. So just make sure that the ball of your foot is on whatever plate you're pushing off of. Otherwise, you might get a little bit of arch pain. So here's how I like doing calf raises on a machine. You could just hold a dumbbell in your hand, but if you have a cable machine set up similar to this, I like grabbing one of the handles, going up. I hang on to this, but for balance, I don't let it, pull me up. You can hold on to this, but I think this is a little bit better for balance. All right, ball of the foot still on the box, all the way down, and explode up. And I am trying to go as fast as I can, just this is a pretty heavy weight.
Wait, do you hold both? You just hold
Just
opposite
Yep.
of the one you're doing?
Yep. No, same side as the one you're doing. So you'd be doing your left side right now.
Yeah, like this.
Nope, that's your right. There you go. Yep.
Okay.
And then all the way down. Good. Perfect. Slow down that eccentric, the lowering a little bit. Good. Just control it. There you go. Nice. Great job on pausing at the bottom. Slow down that eccentric a little bit more for me. Do a 2 count. Depending which program you're running, you're either going to do an ab crunch or a cable crunch. Now I added alternatives for both of these in both programs, so kind of do whichever one you prefer or whichever one you have access to in terms of equipment. Now if you're doing an ab crunch, something like this, an ab mat can really help. The benefit to an ab mat like this is you can extend or stretch the abs a little bit more. So if I didn't have this, it's right here, my abs are here. If I wanted to stretch them out a little bit more, see how I can bend over this. It'd be the same thing if you had a yoga ball or something like that. And now what a lot of people will do when they are using, or when they're doing any kind of crunch, is they'll use a lot of momentum and kind of swing up and they'll go like this. This is not how you hypertrophy things. It's not how you grow muscle. Be very controlled. You don't have to slow down on the concentric or where you're doing the work, but you should be very controlled through your range of motion and try not to rubber band or use a stretch reflex to do it. And if you're being very, very conscious of using the abs and squeezing the abs to bring yourself up right, these can actually be pretty difficult. So here's a few reps. Just like that. Now I'm gonna do a cable crunch. It's what I prefer for my abs right now. If I had a ab crunch machine, that is what I would use, but we're in my home gym. So I'm gonna use the cable crunch. It's just a really easy way to set up an ab exercise that you can add, or you can progressively overload or add weight and reps to very, very easily, especially weight. So for this exercise, we're gonna take both D handles, and if you don't know what a D handle is, it's just like the standard handle for a cable machine. We're gonna take both of these and attach them to one carabiner clip, and we're gonna raise this all the way to the top. And the only reason that I don't like the rope attachment, this thing is just gathering dust. I don't like this for pretty much anything, especially for ab crunches. It's because as you're trying to grip it, your wrist, this is going up and you're trying to pull down, so your wrist can be at a kind of an uncomfortable position. Here, we get to keep them in a little bit more of a neutral position, and it's just easier on the wrist. And this is just gonna be my warm-up set, bringing them to the back of my head, keeping my arms relatively stiff, and then crunching down. If you have a cable machine and you have maxed out the stack like I have for this one, and you need a little bit more weight, this is a gym pin, so I use this, throw a weight on it, stick it in the stack, and there we go. We have an extra 25 pounds. Two more. Come on, squeeze it, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good stuff. And that wraps up day one of the 9th cycle of the A-Team. If you're not currently a member of it, there's a 7-day free trial. I'd be happy if you checked it out. Please feel free to leave any questions in the comments below.